Steve Seth. Hello, friends. How are you guys?
Hello. Doing great. How
Morning,
you doing?
Nuno.
So I feel like the vibe right now is kind of reminiscent of the fan base. Like we got to deal with another injury.
Yes, that's frustrating, man. But I mean, it's football, you know. My dad always said he wasn't surprised that we got hurt. He was surprised that we didn't get hurt more often. I mean, but we just, I think that whoever it is that's going to step up. I'm sorry, I don't know who's going to go play for Tyreek, but you know, that we got to have the depth, and I think that is it's not the current coach's fault. That's the previous. If there's any kind of drop down, so we just have to build the depth, and we have to be able to recruit that depth because it's football. Yeah. That's how it is.
I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens to be a position we were coming in thin already to the season.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, we were concerned about cornerback and depth there before the season started, and then you lose one of your starters, and now it's kind of like, okay, we don't even know what we have behind him technically yet. So I guess if anything, it's good that it's happening now because these guys will get a chance to play early and you know, develop and get better as the season progresses, and then, you know, hopefully we got some talent back there, but if not, we definitely have a chance to improve as the season goes.
Well, I mean, and it's everything combined together, right, to bring the mood. They haven't won on the road forever. They quarterback now is, you know, TBD, who's going to be the quarterback, injuries in the defensive backfield. So it's just all of this where I felt really good. I still feel, maybe because I'm just an optimist, and Seth, I know you can be a too.
Cockeyed optimist.
Billy, hey, good to see you, buddy.
What time is it? Okay.
We went and
did SEC Network.
Why are you without your shoes right now?
Because they were the laces were so tangled up on those shoes that matched this outfit, and I just rode over here with them in the car.
Laces out.
You
Billy.
can see them there, but I couldn't get. If we win this weekend, am I going to have to go shoeless every week?
You got to wear socks.
I think so.
So anyway, the TV was the setting up there is screwed up, Nuno. So
where were you going though?
Humiliated
you were
me on
something
national television at SEC.
Oh, I was on that, like, I'm kind of at a point where I don't care.
Optimism, yes.
I'm
optimistic still.
But I also don't care. I mean, I care about injuries, but, like, just find a way to get it done. Let's move on.
Right.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I mean, that's what the great teams do. They have the depth, and they have that ability to put a new guy out. Yes, there's going to be a drop down in talent, but the best teams get a guy in there, and they just keep moving because that's football. That's how this deal goes. I mean, there's going to be injuries. Hopefully we've got that depth, and the guy can step up. I'll let
It'll be a
Billy
good test
whittle
of,
on that end of the stick on who's going to play.
It'll be a good test of leadership on the team. You know, when you have a couple of injuries and you're not at 100% and your quarterback's not at 100%, your other guys got to step up. You know, and that's where your veterans and your leaders on the team have their best games. So we'll see.
To me, that's the A&M defense you're talking about in the offensive line. Those two groups, look, defensively you should be fine. Losing Chappelle hurts. And I think that, I said this the other day, that's a long-term injury. They got to figure out how they're going to cover injuries because, you know, there are certain people that cover this team that try to kind of do it the right way and others that just don't care. So, you know, I'm giving that 1 week to get figured out because, like, Chappelle's got a longer-term situation. And, you know, my thing is,
You're a professional.
well, I don't care about that. Long-term, short-term, right? Chappelle's going to be out. Okay, he's not playing this weekend. You won't see him for a while. He probably is, you know, probably a year-long thing. So that's a bigger hit to this weekend's defense, maybe than it will be throughout the year. He's a really good player. He's a 3-year starter at corner. They loved what he was doing so much at nickel that he nobody was really expecting him to be the nickel when he came back. I don't even think he was. But he did such a good job of it that Elko loved him. And you got to remember, this is the negative and the positive. The negative is Mike Elko, and remember when he was here, how important that nickel was to his defense. And it really elevated a whole nother level when you put Antonio Johnson in there his freshman year. But by the same token, he turned guys like Caper Smith, Deshaun Capers-Smith, and Ronnie Elam into pretty good nickels. And then he went and got guys that never sniffed an NFL or really didn't play a lot here in Charles Oliver. And then he had a few guys, Devin Morris, that played well at that nickel spot that we were like, whoa, where did that guy come from? We didn't think. And they ended up doing well in his scheme there. So I do think someone else can. This week, that someone else is Jaden Hill. And frankly, I think he's gotten off to a slower start in the first couple weeks against Notre Dame and even against McNeese. And now he's playing against his old team. And I think they'll go at him and test him. They know his weaknesses. They know about him. So long term, I think they'll figure it out. Maybe it's Jaden Hill and he starts playing well. But this Saturday, I think that's a pretty damn big blow. And that's the one we know you're going to be without. Trey Jones, but I like their depth at safety. That's a short-term injury. I'd fully expect him back for Bowling Green. But that injury, if we're going to talk a lot about quarterback, I'm sure. That injury is the one that immediately when I look at it and go, that's going to affect this football team this week. And Chappelle was that big a piece of it. Now, what you said, Steve, the defense and the O-line, I think, need to step up and say, let's go. Grown-ass men's game.
Yeah.
SEC, in the swamp, against a talented, you're not going to out-talent this team. And go in there and say, this is a man's game today.
Yeah.
And I think those big men on both lines of scrimmage are going to be who has to win it.
No doubt.
And that secondary that we think and I believe is greatly improved, they're going to have to step up because I think the plan for Florida is going to be test that run defense, but what they really want to do is no one's throwing it down the field on these guys. Let's see if we can.
Yep. Well, I think defensively, the good thing is defense travels. Being able to hear the snap count. I don't know if Mertz is playing or Lagway or if they're both going to play.
I would bet both.
Yeah, it sounds like both of them probably play. And having a freshman quarterback in there, my guess is that you're not going to get a lot of hard counts and change ups because you're not going to try to overwhelm him too much mentally. If your defense starts to get timed up on those snap counts and can get off the ball a little bit, especially on third down, man, you talk about putting a freshman quarterback that, is very athletic and maybe hard to sack, but you're talking about putting a kid like that, where his head's spinning 100 miles an hour trying to get out of the pocket and try to make plays with his legs. We could definitely make some plays, get some sacks because we haven't had any this year.
Yeah.
Billy, I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I did.
0.
Yeah. Technically one, but
They gave us one.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Oh, they gave it to him? Good.
I think they did. I thought
And then
I saw that.
offensively, I would really like what I saw from the offensive line last week, and I didn't dislike what I saw from them against Notre Dame. I thought they blocked pretty well against Notre Dame also, but I thought they took another step forward last week in just their efficiency with double teams and the way their technique you could see was really starting to come together. So I like the way the offensive line's progressing. I think this could be a great opportunity for us to go down there and run the football on these guys.
I think, speaking of the offensive line, I think it was the first long run of the game against McNeese. And I don't care if it's McNeese, whatever, but their technique was, I was like, man, that looked really sharp.
Yeah.
Like the way
First play?
Was it the first play? It might have been the
They
first
did a
play.
little pin and pull.
But it might have been the second one because
the 31-yarder.
Yeah, because Basantis went up the field to the second level, and I was just loving the way that he was reacting to a linebacker that it should have been a lot quicker than he was, and he was able to react very athletically and get on him. And I was like, man, that's great. You just love to see that, even against a lesser team, just the footwork and things like that. But they're getting coached up, is what I'm saying. I mean, I think
you can tell.
everything that's going on over there is great.
But they won't have. This will be a much bigger challenge. I mean, the defensive tackles at Florida are pretty large,
430 or what? That's ridiculous.
pretty
man.
large humans. I would venture to say your best probably play to run the football. I mean, you got to run the ball inside some, but I mean, I'm blocking down on these guys. I'm pulling. I'm getting outside. I'm trying to get off tackle. This is where I see us running the football.
Yeah, either that or just plan on just neutralizing that guy. Don't waste two guys on him because you're really not going to move him.
Seth, what would y'all do if you had to block a guy fourth. Let's say you're the guard, you're the center going into this
who's
game,
pulling?
and you've got to block this guy that's 430.
You stalemate. I mean,
Yeah.
a stalemate's a win.
Yeah,
on
you're not
guys like
trying
that.
to
That's like a
pancake
Vince
this guy.
Wilfork
Yeah.
thing. Where,
Cover them up. Don't let them get penetration. Let the other guys win and move the guys off the ball because you're not going to move 350, 400-pound guys.
And honestly, you're blocking down on him. And you're just freaking taking his outside leg out and crabbing him. I mean, if you're the guard trying to block down.
sounds like me at Kempner High School. 175 trying to block
Crab blocking.
defensive ends.
Get
like
on his
Steve.
knees, Liucci.
Yeah, that was a big crab block. Don't let me catch you downfield like slipping though on a downfield block when you're not looking.
You're a cheap shot
yeah,
guy.
I'll get you.
That's just highlight reel right there.
No,
Rodney Harrison was the biggest cheap shot guy. And,
is he really?
Oh my goodness, he would pick guys off the
Like
pile.
you'd pick linemen off.
Like you'd be just near the pile and just come
Well,
out
you
on
knew
left
going
field.
into those games, guys like him, you had to watch for.
Oh
him.
yeah, for real.
Who's the dirtiest player y'all played against?
As far as that kind of thing, he was.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, like he would pick you off a pile in a heartbeat.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
He wouldn't
slimy.
even think twice about it.
What about you?
Yeah, I mean, definitely safeties are the ones you got to keep an eye on.
Really?
I don't know why.
Like in the trenches, it's not that bad.
Oh, we're too tired. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just football, man.
You're
We're
not
like
gonna
working
get
hard.
too dirty with a guy you got to go against the entire game because that guy could get dirty back with you.
Yeah.
But the safeties are like, I'm gonna take a shot at this guy. I'm not gonna see him the rest of the game. You know. You gotta watch
And
them.
and y'all's big asses aren't gonna be able to catch him
No,
downfield.
we're not gonna be able to
Right.
retaliate.
He knows he got you. There's nothing. There's literally nothing you can do about it. It's like,
So Billy, we touched on it at 9:20, but let's kind of go back to the Connor situation. Reset for the audience that doesn't know. He's questionable for this game.
Yeah.
The way you wrote it on the boards was the very definition
Lingering.
of questionable.
Yeah, I mean they say questionable to put them questionable. And I don't know, can we get an injury report, David?
Yeah, we can get one.
I'd like to get one.
Staff, can you print that out for us, please?
Questionable, by definition, by their thing, is 50-50. And I
We may have one out of
And I think he's the definition of that. I think he's a 50-50 guy. And, he's missed a lot of practice time.
I'll find it. Go
He's
ahead.
missed a lot of practice. He hurt that shoulder. He hurt a shoulder, and it's a, not to go into too much detail, but it would be what would be considered a mild shoulder injury. So not.
an
Hopefully,
annoying
you
thing.
guys know how that goes, though. If you don't know if that's completely. Johnny had a shoulder injury. His second year here, suffered in that game against Auburn. Remember, and he had to come out, and it was like a one. He could fact check me. It was like a 1.5 or a 2 grade separation. I think it was a 1.5.
Those are rough.
And he came back in that game. I remember seeing him on the sideline just literally screaming as he threw passes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's one thing people don't get about Johnny is how hurt he was his second year when he played.
Yeah.
Still finished top 5 in the Heisman. It's okay, Nuno. We can do this during break.
Okay,
It's a little
my
bit.
fault. It's my
The
fault.
laminated pages are getting
A little glossy for you?
so. Anyway, that injury, like you just don't know. So he didn't miss a game, but he played hurt the entire year.
Billy, and if I may,
Yeah.
because I had an
You've
AC.
had a shoulder.
I've had that
I
exact
think I have
injury.
too when I tried to bench press with you.
But I will say that that is very painful. It does feel every time you get hit on it, every time you try to throw, like it feels like somebody's stabbing a knife into your joint there.
Yeah.
And it's like that for the first couple of weeks at least. I mean, I remember it still bothering me for probably a 6-week period.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it starts to get better, but you still feel it for like 6 weeks. I was having to get a shot of, I think, like xylocaine right in the joint before every game just to numb it. I don't know if you can do that as a quarterback, but I mean, if you're
I'm
able
sure there's
to,
a long. You gotta.
I mean, I'm sure they're doing whatever they can to give him comfort, but that's literally the only thing you can do to kind of numb that pain because it is bad.
Yeah.
I can't imagine trying to throw downfield and stuff if it's a bad sprain.
So I think he hurt it. I believe, because he didn't take a lot of big hits in that Notre Dame game, but I think it happened on the goal line against Notre Dame, early fourth quarter on that sneak, actually. I ran into one of those big D linemen.
Either you took a shot right on it or you fell on
Landed
it and
on it,
got crushed.
Yeah, and so I haven't seen that replay. But so missed practice time last week, was able to go, threw the ball pretty well. You know, you wouldn't have thought.
I thought he did a really good
Thought he
job.
did good. Took a big hit on his last pass.
Did he throw any deep balls though? I can't recall.
Yeah, he threw not deep, but he threw down the field a couple times.
I can't remember
30
the
yards
deep,
down the field.
Everything he did was effective and sharp.
Yeah,
much better than Notre Dame. Much better.
He looked good. I thought he looked good. I wouldn't sit there and go, oh, he looks great. It's McNeese, but I thought he looked good. I'm throwing the ball. But missed time last week, missed time this week. They did. Here's the deal. Here's what you need to factor in. Well, it was an SEC game. Never mind. They didn't have to do an injury report last week. This week, he's missing practice time. They put him on the report. I think you need to take that very seriously. It would be really easy to leave him off if you felt good about him playing. I think that's a wake up tomorrow. How does that shoulder feel type of thing? Marcel Reed has gotten a lot of work this week. He got some work last week. He got a lot of work this week. If Connor can go, that's your guy. And you go out there and then like Steve, like you said, if he takes a hit and that thing, or if it's hurting him too bad to throw, I think the too bad to throw thing, you wouldn't play.
Yes.
But if
it alters your offense and the things that you're able to call, then I think.
But if it's a he's okay thing, then it might be like, you could be one hit away. Yeah, go try.
That's what I would anticipate seeing.
I anticipate the same.
They're going to try to get, and he's going to want to play.
Yeah,
and he's going to try to go. He's going to want to go play. He's going to try to play, and then if it's so bad that it is affecting offense, that's when you make.
Well, let's just pretend that it feels the same as it did last week. I'm okay with that because he did an effective job last week. Yeah, and if it got worse, that's a different story.
But again, that's against McNeese State.
Yeah,
what if we get into a situation,
things like that,
where he's having to throw the ball downfield, and he's not able to do that.
I got you.
I
understand. I mean, if that's the case,
decision.
then yes, I agree. He doesn't need to play.
Billy, do you think Colin comes in with two different types of plays in mind based on this situation?
By the way, what if it's not his thrown shoulder?
Yeah, I mean that's true. We're just assuming that.
I'll check that during the break. But what if it's but either way, it is to the point that they put him on this list as questionable. He's missed practice time each of the last 2 weeks. It's going to be a Saturday, in my opinion. It's going to be a Saturday decision. And Marcel Reed has gotten a lot of work now. He played 2.5 quarters the other day. He's gotten a lot of work practicing with the ones now. So if that's what it has to be, that's what it's going to be. And you're going to have Marcel Reed versus potentially Derek Lagway with both teams, absolutely needing a win. Now, it's a must-win for Billy Napier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's certainly not a must-win for Mike Elko. I'm sure they both want it equally as bad, but it is a must-win for Napier. But for this season, guys, I think this is a potentially, lose it, and it's a disastrous loss for this team this season, because then you start going, man, are we in a rebuild?
Yep.
Win it, and I would say you're 50% through the turning point of the season, which is Florida and Arkansas.
Yeah.
But to me, that's the turning point. You got to win both. And
to answer your question, though, it's not beyond offensive coordinator's capabilities to come in with two different plans with two different quarterbacks, because he knows what each of them does well and what each of them does not do well.
They're probably both doing that.
Yeah.
For different reasons, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Billy, Steve, and Seth here in studio. Guys, before the season, we had a couple areas that we wanted to see better, okay? Special teams, defensive backs, and offensive line. I feel so far all three of those are trending in the right direction. Let's start with the offensive line with what you've seen, Seth.
Yeah, that has been a very pleasant surprise, and one that you got to give those guys on the field and Coach Cushing a lot of credit for changing, what was perceived as a very big negative into something that is honestly looking like a positive moving forward, which is great. Are they there yet? No, but are they doing a good enough job, and a job that they should be happy about? Yes, and no, I think they can be great. The talent that they have over there is really good. Reed Adams has been great. coming in. I mean, I'm coming in transfer-wise, you're just like blown away by the kid. Basantis has done a really good job at guard. And Foley, right? That's his name at center. Coley, there we go. And he's done well. So I'm really impressed with the way things are progressing.
By the way, Seth.
Oh, don't even,
here we
Billy.
go.
Just because I said Foley, Coley, whatever, dude. It's like I got too many names. It's your job to know those.
By the way, Seth.
What?
Great job at your Hall of Fame induction the other night. See that? Guy gets completely.
I'm used to being ridiculed. I'm not. I can't
Was that
take
really
these,
where you were going to go?
I can't take these compliments.
I was going to say he gave a great speech, Steve. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I didn't get a chance to see it.
They provided us a little ammo there, Peroni and I, but it was a great speech. I thought everybody did a good job, but I thought, the old roommate killed it, and you weren't there to see it as his brother.
Oh, all right, come on.
What up? Sorry.
I'm sorry I was at my son's football game. So I love you, bro, but not more than my son.
How many are going to play this year?
8 more. 8 more.
They're not going to the playoffs? I guess you got
I will never miss a game.
I kind of agree with you there.
It's all right, Steve.
I would fly to Alaska.
I did a good job.
To watch a
I agree with you.
scrimmage.
I'm with you. I did a good job of filling your place.
All right, well, I appreciate you, brother.
In a
I was there
Cowboy.
Saturday, though. Me and Hunter
That's right.
were there Saturday.
That's right.
So we gave him the
Little
the
recruiting
thumbs up.
trip.
Yeah, he saw him. And I got to talk to Adam Cushing.
Oh, nice.
Speaking of segue, that's a
So-
segue. Perfect.
Offensive line-wise, like Seth said, I think they did improve and show some real improvement there this last week. Of course, Cushing is not satisfied with where they're at, which is good because I had to remind him. I said, "Look, I'm looking at it based on the standard of what I saw last year compared to this year, and it's a noticeable improvement. You got some veteran guys. You got guys that have played some ball now. You don't have a freshman starting, which is nice. I can't even remember the last time I could say that.
That feels good.
Wow,
So
that's a good point.
you got some veteran guys that have played some football playing together. However, this is the first time this group has gone on the road in a very loud environment, and they're going to have to deal with crowd noise. They're going to have to be able to communicate through the crowd noise. See how we do with that. Handling that aspect of it will be their next big challenge to see where we're at as an offensive line.
Well, I'll tell you this. I think, and here's the thing. Whereas Notre Dame's strength defensively, like in the front seven, was up the middle, I would say outside, you've got this 400,000 pounder, but where Florida is really dangerous is on the outside with guys like, Shamar James is a linebacker, but he's a real rangy guy. A&M recruited him. Tyreek Sapp and George Gums, those edge rushers, that to me is those are the guys that can wreak havoc. And so this to me will be the biggest test in 3 games for the tackles, Zune and Crownover. And I feel like I'm watching Crownover get better. Mm-hmm. I do. I don't know what y'all see there, but this is the game they'll be put to the test.
No doubt.
And I don't know. You got to be at the ready in case you need to say, okay, Reed Adams, you need to play tackle. Dewberry, would have been maybe Naboo. Dewberry, you going in at guard. I'm saying those 2 guys have to hold up.
Yeah.
Zune and Crownover.
And that's tough.
Zune's got a ton of experience. He's been there, done that. He just keeps getting better, I believe.
Very consistent.
But both of them will be put to a test.
And
for Crownover, it'll be the biggest test he's had in his starting career.
And that's the challenge, right? Going on the road when it's loud.
Yeah.
If you're out there at tackle, if you're not on point with the snap count, man, you get even a half a step behind, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm anxious to see is how well we adjust to the noise, and are we getting off the ball on the count at tackle?
I'll be very interested because I know that we have that pre-snap routine, the clapping and all that. I just hope that all translates on the road too.
And I'm still baffled. At 40, almost 49 years old, I'm still baffled how these guys are able to hear a clap in that crowd noise.
Yeah.
Like my whole career in the NFL, we played with a silent count. And you still see them do it in the NFL. Center's head comes up, boom, we go. And then you get these guys in college where it's louder than the NFL half the time. and they're going on that.
It's
How
shocking.
far are we talking about? From you to Seth, right?
Yeah. How are you
Basically.
hearing that? If your head's down, your helmet's on, your ears are that way. How are you hearing
Well, yeah,
that?
because I remember even at
Evidently, Steve, they can hear it. because-
Apparently they can.
I love it.
Otherwise, I don't know what every team.
I
in
just
college
don't
football
understand
is doing.
how.
It's very interesting. I don't know if it's a timing deal. They hear one clap, they hear what. I don't know how it all works. But I know even at home games, we'd be in the gun sometimes, and it would be like a loud occasion, and your center just straining to hear it because the last thing you want is a false snap.
And
to
you're
center.
notoriously deaf anyway.
Well, nowadays, I mean, I
Too
couldn't,
much earwax.
I couldn't hear a count if I had to these days. But yeah, as a kid, maybe
It
the ears
is
are better.
interesting, the whole clap routine. I mean, I get the guard tapping, I get
Yeah.
all that stuff, but the clap is very interesting.
I would love for you guys to ask some offensive linemen because I'm curious
Yeah.
as to how they're able to time that up. Can they actually hear the clap, or are they going off something else? Like, what are we
Well,
doing?
if they're not, then why are you doing the clap?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess maybe just for the center.
No, I mean, or to put something out there for the DBs, receivers, or whatever to just fool somebody, get them to show something.
Yeah.
We will ask that at the next press conference with an offensive lineman. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a Freak of the Week and the Sleeper of the Week. Right now, we're talking Costa Vida. Go check them out in South College Station. Obviously, you can get the food there at Kyle Field. It's fantastic. But if you're around town and you're looking for Fresh Mex done the right way, you need to stop by Costa Vida. It is Fresh Mex. It's not Tex-Mex. They do it their own way. Great ingredients, where every ingredient does matter in the dishes that they serve. Holly's there. She's a great Aggie, and she brought this vision to College Station because she wanted to have something that was awesome and that's something that she could see grow, and it's grown here in South College Station. We like to get the quesadillas, but there's a lot of other options. You can get the shrimp and taco mango salsa. You can get the chips in the case. You can get the sweet pork quesadillas. You can get the raspberry chipotle chicken salad. I love the tortilla soup. You get the quesadillas. You name it. It is the place to go in South College Station. Go check them out. It is 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station. Aggie owner operated Costa Vida, 4501 Mills Park Circle in College Station.
This is the Zone 1150 and 93 points.
Time for the Freak of the Week. Let's start off with Steve this week. Who's your Freak of the Week?
It's the Freak of the Week.
I didn't know if we were going to do it.
Not my fault.
Gabe never forgot.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with little Terry Bussey this week,
Nice.
Billy.
Oh, all right. If they can do that,
They got to get him involved more.
I agree with that, and they will. I'm fully convinced of that. You don't. Yes, they will. But to me, I keep looking at that Arkansas game. I'm like, you might need to win that one.
Save
38,
him for that.
34. No, but I'm just saying, like, I can see the Jabri Barber, Terry Bussey thing just kind of ramping up until then.
Okay. So you think he's more of a
Billy, you're
better
not
sleeper
next.
pick?
Don't say
No, I think
Better
it's a
sleeper
good. I
pick?
think it's a good one because I think he touched the ball. What was it? Once or twice Saturday, and it was once against Notre Dame. So yeah, I mean, I think very quickly, maybe this week you start seeing this guy touch the ball.
I'd love to see 10
5,
plus.
6 times.
That's all I'm asking for.
I need 10
5 or
plus.
6.
I need 10 plus.
10 plus.
Jeez, Seth. I mean,
I need a lot. All
The
right.
problem is there's only so much, and I know people hate hearing this, and you guys understand this better to a degree. Like when a guy is playing 1A football, and he comes and he's not a spring guy, and he gets there in the summer, and he works for 2 weeks at corner, and then he shifts to receiver.
yeah.
There's only so much. You have to kind of soft serve it each week a little more, but people don't seem to realize. Like,
Just
get him.
dreaming.
Well, not
Good grief.
well, you Seth and everybody else, right? Get him the ball 10 times. Okay, well, what can he go out there and run that 10 of your 70 plays, if you're lucky in today's college football, if 10 of your 70 plays are going to him?
I meant touches like throw,
Special
run,
I
whatever.
know.
That's like 5 throws and 5 runs. That's not that hard. I'm not saying you're like ID and I'm like, this is only for.
I mean,
but
we
if
have
he's open,
receivers that
get
don't
him.
get 5, targets.
Anais wasn't getting that many his senior year.
You know
most
what?
games.
I'll take it back. Let's just get him 2.
Okay. 5. I'm at 5.
I'm great. I'm going next, Billy.
Okay,
All right, I'm
go
going with Nick Scourton. I think he's going to have a great game. Going to tee off and on this guy, and he'll have a great opportunity to do that. And so hopefully, no matter who's back there for them, that it's good. He's just. I mean, I can't wait. So hopefully he gets his second sack and we can move on from that.
I want to go Shamar Stewart out there, back in his home state. Same thing you're talking about.
Yep.
So what I'm going to do is push him over to you and pretend like you pick both defensive ends. So I am going to pick.
That's your way of getting two.
Yeah.
Good play. Very good play.
Yeah, I did that.
Since he picked 2,
So since Seth
Classic
picked 2, I am going to pick. I need Bryce Anderson to have a big game. Bryce is a veteran. He had a great offseason. He's bought into Elko. He's a very high-profile recruit.
It's a name we haven't heard called a lot.
I know.
And maybe that's a good
sleeper.
thing. Maybe that's a good thing.
But he's not a sleeper, and I thought about that, but he's not because he is a really good player. And I think in a game like this against Mertz, who you can't let get going as a veteran, you got to keep him. His last outing against Miami was a bad one. You got to keep him in that mode. And against, if it's Lagway, like those safeties need to have a big game. Brooks and Anderson. And I think Anderson is going to be my freak of the week. I think he makes a couple big plays defensively.
Time for the Sleeper of the Week, presented by the Sleep Station. Go see Jared McLeod and ask about the Tempur-Pedic or Purple mattress in the Specs parking lot at Texas and Harvey, in front of the Lowe's at William D. Fitch and Highway 6. The website, thesleepstation.com. Seth, your Sleeper of the Week.
I'm going to go with Hill, right? That's who's coming in, yeah. And so I think that he's got to step it up and be the next guy up, and plus he's going back, right? I think it's going to be a great game for him, and hopefully he lives up to the potential, and that's my sleeper.
Well, I think in that same vein, I'm gonna stick with guys returning back to their home school and pick Scooby Williams. I know he's listed as questionable, but if he can play through it, that he's going to be looking.
It would take a lot. It would have to be a bad injury for him.
Well, they called him out.
Thinking.
Those Florida players.
They called both of them out.
Jaden Hill and Scooby, they told their running back, if you see him on the field, either one of them on the field, run at them because they can't tackle. Mm-hmm. That's what a Florida player said. Look, I don't know as a competitive athlete how you let that crap fly.
No way.
And you don't, right?
He did kind of say it jokingly, but I think there was a little truth to it. He was laughing when he said it.
Yeah.
But
That's not how it works. You're looking for any kind of slight.
We're going to put it in print on the board.
Shamar James.
We're taking it out of context.
Yes, exactly.
And you know what, Shamar James? If I'm an A&M O lineman,
I'm running at you.
This is what I want this team to be like. I don't want them to, and they're not. I don't want them to be like Shador, Sanders,
That's
Shiloh,
nonsense.
where they're yapping before the kickoff and it's this false bravado.
Yeah.
I want this team to be more like what I saw from Nebraska last week, which I heard multiple of their players say, Travis Hunter talked to me like that. He's talking to a dog. He doesn't know. He's going to find out. And they found out. And they said after the game, by the second quarter, he stopped talking. And another Nebraska player I heard say something similar. It was just you knew the mindset by hearing them talk. And I want to see a team at Texas A&M where if I'm a Florida player and Shamar James and I say something about Steve McKinney and Seth McKinney, I say something about Jaden Hill and Scooby, right? That's fine. Those two guys need to raise up and play, and Torian York should take that personally, and that whole secondary and that whole that's fine. But I want the O-line. I want someone on that O-line to go up to them and say, "Hey, I got you today."
Yeah.
And go out there and kick the ever-living you-know-what and go after Shamar James. Clean football, but go after him. And that's when you start having a real culture of winning.
I'll
so
tell
I
you
hope
what
something like that's going on in that locker room.
I'll tell you, I saw it against even in the McNeese game.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there. I love where I sit as an offensive lineman. You watch the end zone copy. But you just see, I wasn't eyeballing what was happening with these two players, but then out of the corner of my eye, I just see it. And they both dump safeties or linebackers. I'm like, I love it, man. That's great.
I think
that's what you need, and you love to see that kind of thing.
Yeah, I do too. My sleeper. You know what? I'm going to go sleeper of the week for me is going to be I would love for it to be a receiver. I'm not ready to go there yet. I think it needs the somebody in that receiving core has to have a really good game or they're not going to win.
Yeah.
I guess I go sleeper of the week. I want to even say, like, hey, if it's Marcel Reed, like if he has to play, I'm confident he can play well. There's going to be growing pains, guys. I know people don't think that you saw him go up and down against Oak State in the bowl game, but there will be growing pains, just like there would be for Lagway. That's why it's tough for Napier to not go on this proven commodity that guided them last year, and he was nowhere near their biggest problem. He wasn't a problem for them. I'm going to go with on defense. I'm sorry, on offense, Amari Daniels.
Oh, okay.
Playing against another
Florida
Florida team, Florida kid. He ran really hard last year against Miami.
Yes, he did.
And I think he got shook there when he had that fumble, and I think it took him out of it mentally. But he came out like early in that game. I'm going, damn, this kid has something to prove. And he ran well last week, and the coaches have been really happy with his progress and development. Yep. He's my sleeper. I still think Le'Veon Moss is the go-to guy. Yeah. But Amari Daniels can have a couple
aren't they
big
both
runs.
Florida kids?
No, Moss is
Louisiana.
Louisiana kid. Okay. All right, sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5 there on Prize Picks. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. Go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get that guaranteed $50 once you play those $5 lineups. We go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski's got the games for us.
Yes, I do. Number 20, Arizona, is traveling to number 14, Kansas State. They're playing today at 7 p.m. at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Kansas State is favored by 7.5 points.
Who wants to take this?
Little Wildcat on Wildcat there. I'll tell you what, Kansas State's one of the tougher places to play, believe it or not. They're a blue-collar, just a hard-nosed, tough fan base and football team. And when you go into that stadium, they're right on top of you, and it's just, I don't know, there's something about it, man.
It's tough.
It's tough. Give me Kansas State to cover.
Yeah, I don't know much about Arizona, so I'm going to go with Kansas State as well.
You going K-State? I'm going – Nuno, can you tell me who Kansas State's head coach is?
The guy who interviewed here last year. Why am I forgetting his name at the moment?
Jed Fish?
Kansas State is not Jed
No,
Fish.
I'm saying it. The guy at Kansas State did not interview here. I meant did
Jed
you know
Fish went.
His name got floated around a little bit.
I'm saying
on the
who was
boards.
that?
Leopold.
No.
Leipold.
No, he's on
That's
Kansas.
That's Kansas?
Kleiman.
Kleiman, yeah.
I love Klein.
But wasn't his name mentioned?
But Jed Fish, I was seeing if you knew that Jed Fish was no longer at Arizona.
Yeah, I did know that.
So he's at Washington.
Yep.
New coach at Arizona. I believe that they're going to go up there and get beat by K-State. I like Arizona's quarterback. I do. I love Avery Johnson, the K-State quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think he is a straight up playmaker. I would love to have that guy running any college football team as a sophomore. I think he's going to be really good. So I like them at home to win that one.
Big number.
It is a big number, man.
It's not that big. It's not that big.
7.5?
Yeah.
It's a decent number.
Because you're about to see some real big numbers.
Because they barely beat Tulane. They barely beat Tulane.
Yeah, Tulane's sneaky good,
Tulane's
though.
pretty good, yeah. And OU's going to find that out this weekend, I think. I'm going to actually go with Arizona to cover against Kansas State, but Kansas State to win.
McKinley?
Number 4, Alabama, is traveling to Wisconsin. They're playing at 11 a.m. at Camp Randall Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Alabama is favored to win by 15.5 points.
Oof.
Big number.
My goodness.
It's a big number, man, but I'm picking Alabama on this one.
They get right after last week against South Florida. Figure it out.
Yeah. Seth, you watched that game last week?
Yeah, the South Florida spent a lot of time.
Yeah. Went back and watched film on that. Just based on that game
I actually
alone.
watched Bama pull away throughout that fourth quarter.
I mean, they
it
were
was
better
impressive, but 3 quarters, it was certainly not.
It was not. Man, can you imagine how big a game this is for Wisconsin?
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be huge for them. 15.5. I think Alabama wins the game. I don't see them winning it by 15.5.
I'm with you.
me
This is not
Wisconsin.
Nick Saban. I think Kalen DeBoer is going to do a great job there, even this year. But I don't think it's blowout Bama City this weekend in a tough place to play. And like Steve said, this can be their Super Bowl.
McKinley.
Number 16, LSU is traveling to South Carolina. They are playing at 11 a.m. at Williams-Brice Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and LSU is favored by 6.5 points.
College game day.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good game, actually. South Carolina's pretty good.
Oh, I'm picking South
bad.
Carolina.
Y'all remember that they stunk it up in their first game?
They did.
We don't know how crappy Kentucky is, but they kicked Kentucky into the dirt. I question South Carolina's offense. They've got Rocket Sanders at running back, but I question their offense with the bespectacled quarterback. I don't know, man. But their defense looks good.
Defense looks really good.
And LSU doesn't really have a quality defense, so I think that South Carolina offense might look a little better. Give me the points. I'm going South Carolina to cover.
I think I saw LSU.
LSU to win that game by a field goal.
I feel good.
South Carolina has a way of getting up, and then right when everybody gets high on them,
Dropping off.
they crap the bed.
Yeah.
They crap their pants.
Yeah.
They crap themselves.
But through
I
two,
want to say something else so bad. It sounds so much. It's so much more
It's not a
emphatic.
podcast.
They blank. Yeah, I know. They blank the bed.
so
They
through,
pee the bed.
through two
They
games,
piss down their leg.
LSU is ninth.
Keep going. Keep
You're
going.
almost there, buddy.
LSU is ninth in the SEC in offense, and that's against, I think, a suspect USC defense because they haven't proven
Yeah.
anything to me, and Nickel State. So the offense that was supposed to carry them this year yet hasn't really
What's
shown
their
up.
song? Ramstein? Isn't that their
Ramstein.
song? Isn't that where they're come out of the locker room song?
Ramstein.
What the heck is Ramstein?
Sandstorm, dude.
But isn't that the band that does it?
Ramstein.
Oh,
Dork?
maybe. I don't know.
I hope I'm right.
Luke's
I hope
looking
I'm
it
right.
up.
Who would even know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, what is Ramstein?
It's who? The what?
The Rude.
Not Ramstein.
Ramstein.
Here's Ramstein.
The Ramstein, sir.
Is that a group?
Yeah, Ramstein is like some Euro metal band.
But they have some random song.
it's like
anyway.
a European metal.
Where would you
Like
even
they
hear the
play
word
it-
I
that?
think they're German. Yeah, they're German.
Yeah, they play at like these outdoor beer festivals.
German band from Berlin.
Yeah, I mean, how would you even know that? Did you just make that up? And it happens
No,
to be a
he
band?
listens
I
to
swear.
Ramstein.
How would you
They used to
even
have
know
a
that?
they used to have a different name, the Temple Prayers.
It wasn't them.
They're a
I've
group
heard
that like
it. I know them
people-
as Ramstein.
That's a group where like people show up dressed like Vikings to the concerts
yes,
and they
yeah.
stomp around
Oh,
and
goodness.
I get it.
there's like
now.
100,000 people at a castle or something.
All right, moving on. I'm sorry.
Not at a football stadium. Sandstorm, LSU. I'm with you though. Their offense, dude, like they want to downplay Mike Denbrock and act like, oh, we had these two young bucks here. They're just waiting to be the coach, and Brian Kelly knows everything, and these young guys are just. Denbrock was just a placeholder. These guys are, that's LSU. They're as bad as we are sometimes. Their fans, everyone that covers them, where it's just like. They're just a little up, and they've won. They've got eternal scoreboard over most people because 3 national titles. But I keep saying, other than that Burrow year, which was, what would we trade for? This is not, what would we trade for one Burrow type
just one.
season? Like, what would you say? We will take this on the field over a 20-year span if we could have. Maybe that's what we've done, and we're just. This has been the last 20, and it's coming.
We did it for a Big 12 championship.
Yeah, we traded.
We're in that.
But for me, take A&M out of it. I mean, that's when it comes from me or us LSU fans and Texas fans do the same thing. They just shoot back. It's not. You guys are measuring yourselves against Bama and Georgia, and Ohio State or whoever. Since A&M joined the SEC, LSU hasn't finished a season with less than 3 losses in every year but one. Every year they have at least 3. If they lose to South Carolina Saturday night, Nuno, tomorrow night, I think they'll lose at least 4 this year.
I agree with you.
You lose the Heisman Trophy winner, 2 first-round receivers, and then you try to downplay losing your OC. I just think it's going to look a lot different.
Yeah.
Good.
Did y'all
Polanski?
pick?
I have not picked yet.
Oh,
but
I have South
I
Carolina.
actually think LSU will cover. I'm going to pick them to win by
You
7.
disregarded everything I said.
I heard everything you said, and then I just
acknowledge it.
disregarded
Big
it.
I
Alan
acknowledge it.
Faneca guy over here.
Their whole Ramstein thing,
It did derail the
it
show.
really threw me off.
We still got some picks to do.
Number 24, Boston College is traveling to number 6, Missouri. They're playing at 11:45 a.m. at Memorial Stadium. It will be streamed on SEC Network, and Missouri's favored by 15.5 points.
Again.
I'm picking BC
These
to cover.
freaking
I'm not picking
spread.
BC to win.
Castellanos!
I'm not picking BC to win, but they're going to cover.
Castellanos.
Yeah, I don't.
How would you say his last name?
Castellanos.
I was thinking Missouri 10 to 14, but yeah, I can't get over that 15.
You got
and a
right
half.
up to 14 on it.
I can see a 14-point win. I think Missouri's that much better than Boston College. I don't know how bad Florida State is. You know, how bad?
That's true.
They're pretty bad, so I wouldn't pump up BC too much when they're playing.
I'm
at
not
home.
pumping them up. I think they covered.
That's a big
I
spread.
do too. I like Bill O'Brien's Look,
He's good in
people
big
can
games.
say- but look, people can say what they want about Bill O'Brien. He had some success with the Texans.
He had a lot of success. He was
And-
a terrible GM.
Yeah, and he had success at Penn State,
Yeah.
coming off the all-time disaster of the end of the Paterno reign. So I think they'll go in there. They're not going to go play in front of 100,000. It'll be tough. Missouri's ready for this thing, but I think BC covers.
Me too.
Polanski.
Number 9,
scared.
Oregon is traveling to Oregon State. They are playing at 2:30 p.m. at Reser Stadium. It will be streamed on Fox, and Oregon is favored by 15.5 points.
What the? Where's
lot
all
of
these
15s.
coming from, man?
Holy Mary.
Week. I don't know.
I'll start off on this one. I don't. There's no way Oregon's going to cover 15.5 at Oregon State.
Rivalry game.
I did not. I can't.
What
see
do you
it
know about
happening.
Oregon State?
I know that
Other than they
they're.
lost their quarterback, their running backs at Miami, their best
conference.
receivers at Texas, their head coach is no longer there, and they don't have a conference.
They're in the Pac-2.
I got anything else?
Oh, the Pac-6, my friend.
Trent Bray, just in case.
It's a rivalry.
Where do you get in the
rivalry.
Pac-6?
He's their
We
head
had
coach.
4 additions
Pac-
yesterday. Wake up.
They
man.
did?
Wow. Fact check McKinney.
Yes.
Boom! Seth knew something I didn't.
Yeah.
about
I don't
college.
know if you know this or not. I'm
Impressed.
I don't know if you heard. Been away
not
for
heard.
a while.
I don't shine shoes no more.
That was not. I guess that didn't make the national news because I didn't hear about it.
It was not overwhelming, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm
No,
not.
they
I'm
had a
not.
whole day cycle. Can you
yeah.
name the teams, Seth?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. We had all of them are states, and 3 of them are cities. All right. Fresno State is one of them. San
you hear that
Diego
disaster?
State.
Yeah.
Boom. Boise State. Boom. And then we had Oregon State, Washington State, and Colorado State. Look at that.
Oh, is that
Good
right?
job.
I learned all that from
So
a
they're the
meme.
Pac-6.
Did you hear our disastrous segment on that?
Surviving.
No.
Because on the press release it said California State University, comma, Fresno.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, California State University?
So it took you guys a minute.
It took us 9.5 minutes to be
You
on.
and who?
OB, of course.
Actually, I would have expected more out of OB. I feel like he would have known that. Like
No, he
Cal
was the one who-
State, Fresno. Can you name all the Cal States? It's like Cal. Name all the colleges in California. Ready? Go.
I got to catch a flight
20 of them.
next.
Stanford, Cal State Fullerton, Cal Poly, Cal Davis, San Diego State,
Long Beach State.
California, San Diego, Long Beach State, Cal State Fullerton, Irvine, St.
Sacramento
Mary's,
State.
Sacramento State, Loyola Marymount, San Jose State, Fresno State. I think I said those. UCSB,
Pepperdine.
Santa Clara, Pepperdine, and California Baptist, and Pacific.
Did you do USD?
Yeah.
I counted over 20.
Fact check me.
That's a lot.
Save us, please, McKinley.
Yes.
That was, I mean,
Wait, I don't know if I picked.
Yeah,
that would be the
no.
most impressive thing you've seen all day. I didn't. It's going to be more impressive than our pick.
I guess I'm gonna go with Oregon. I'm gonna go with Oregon.
Blowout, the rivalry blowout.
The blowout in a
it.
rivalry of a team that won both games by a field goal
At their place.
against Idaho and Boise.
Fine. Oregon State.
You got talked out of it already?
Oregon State.
We brought him back.
I don't know. That's a toss-up to
Brought
me.
him back to the safe space.
They're on the record books.
Oregon State. Oregon State. There we go.
I'm going to go wake up call Oregon.
That's what I did.
They wake up. They've been asleep so far through 2 games. They haven't been asleep. Boise has a hell of a running back. That dude's going to be a Heisman contender.
We need Phil Knight.
watch his
we need
highlights?
Phil Knight to get frustrated. All right.
You know what?
What's he going to do?
You know what's interesting about
Give
Phil,
up on the
come
NIL.
You know what no one talks about Phil Knight in Oregon and why they're such a. It's obviously all the money they've got, but I've talked to some people like Phil Knight is not. You know, he's not just. He could cut a $50 million check
sure.
and go buy everybody. He's not doing that. They're staying like in market, but at the top of the market. Like there are guys that Oregon has tapped brakes on, including Jonah Williams, who's at Texas, including guy they lost, I think, recently to LSU. Let's not forget people like, oh, Phil Knight's old. He's 80. Well, like, we see some people at 80 plus that have lost it. We see plenty that have not. Phil Knight is not in that group. Let's not forget, it's Phil Knight and his team. These guys have negotiated like Nike deals of how many cajillion dollars with Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods.
That's nice.
Like,
He's got Nike at his
it's a total
disposal
advantage
for the NIL.
that they've got that at their disposal.
Yeah.
Not just the money, but just the knowledge and expertise and kind of knowing how to do it. I think that's the thing I've been most behind the scenes impressed by with this regime over here is how involved it gets in terms of knowing, okay, the goal is to just go raise as much money as you can for NIL. But the whether you win or not is going to depend on how you spend that money. And how, by the way, how you don't spend that money.
Yeah.
Because that'll get you killed too. We've seen that.
Polanski.
Last but not least, we have Texas A&M traveling to Florida. They're playing at 2:30 p.m. at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. It will be streamed on ABC, and Texas A&M is favored by 3 points.
There's no reason we shouldn't go down there and do what we need to do, win and cover this. That's who I'm picking, and that's who I'm sticking with. I think that we've got it in us. Let's pretend that Connor plays. I think that he's going to build on what he did against McNeese, which was good and effective and would have been good against Notre Dame still, the way he was timing them up and where he was putting the ball. Regardless, I think he's going to step up and do a good job for us if he plays.
I'm with you, bud. I'm going A&M. I think they win by more than 3. I think we're gonna go down there and look like a good veteran team that knows how to travel and win on the road, even though we haven't done it in over 1,000 days.
We haven't spoken about that briefly that we left on
1,000
Friday.
days
Since
it made me
October 16th, 2021.
Since the last time
Our last
that
home
I
road
saw
victory.
the Aggies win.
But you know who was who was coaching for A&M the
The
last
fact
time we
you
won?
don't appreciate that is sick.
No, I do. I like it.
Dude, I'm disgusted.
Elko was there coaching the last time we won a road game. And he's going to be there
Again.
Saturday when we win the next road game,
do it.
Seth.
Okay.
I'm in. All right.
I would contend.
Seth's locked
Uh-oh,
in.
here we go.
I would contend you could also say Elko started the streak because they lost their last 2 road games there. Just kidding.
Great.
I just wanted to be,
They're gonna
I wanted to be a
sound
Debbie
negative.
Downer.
Don't
No.
clip that.
Listen, here's the
nice
reality.
try.
Here's the reality. Mike Elko's 0-0 on the road.
Yes.
He's not 0-10. Okay. These football players, a lot of them are 0-for on the road. You got a lot of new guys in the transfer portal that know nothing about a road losing streak. Mike Elko has tried since he's gotten here, him and his staff, to change the thinking, change the culture. He asked them in press conferences, can you guys stop bringing up last year so much? This is this year. That gave you a look into the mindset of like, I'm trying to change thought processes and a culture here.
Yeah.
This is a great chance to do that. I love that they're going up there today. They didn't go yesterday. I've always thought, and you guys have been there with me, that is the common denominator. The 1 year they won on the road and no one could get through to Jimbo. And I would ask people this, closest to him, I'd mentioned it to him. He's the head coach. Maybe that's for Ross Bjork to step in. Say, hey, it's a money thing. But he truly believed in the Thursday thing. That's fine. I didn't. Most football people don't. That's why teams don't do it. That deal to me, the 1 year that they won on the road, they went and won at Tennessee. They won at Mississippi State. They won at Auburn. It was because it was COVID. So some would say, well, the road environments weren't as tough. It's 25%. No, I don't think it's that. I think it was because they couldn't go 2 days before.
Yep.
They flew in, they kicked a little ass, they flew home.
There we go.
And that's Elko's mindset this
how you do
weekend. And it's going to be their mindset, whether it's 15 or 10 at quarterback. And I think if it's Connor, first of all, if it's Connor, it means he's good to go. And I think if it's him, A&M wins and covers. And I think we didn't do enough time today because we just don't want to go all the way in there yet. But if it's Marcel Reed, he's gotten a ton of practice the last 2 weeks. He played in a game. I think we're going to experience, if he's out there, you're going to see growing pains. It's not going to be smooth and free-flowing. And I think that'd be the same thing for Florida if they've got Lagway in there. But I think this is a game where the A&M defense steps up and they realize it's us today.
Yeah.
And the running game goes in the O-line, it's us today. If that line was at 3.5, I'd have a problem.
Yep.
I think A&M wins by a field goal, maybe 21-17, 20-17, 24-20, that type of range. I don't think these offenses are going to be able to really go up and down and light it up. If you tell me it's 100% Connor going and they wake up tomorrow morning, it's like he can go, maybe I like A&M in that 27-20 range.
Okay.
I like it.
That's going to do it. Thanks, everybody.